Yeah,
Recording salary.
yeah. I've started.
So, hello everyone who's watching this episode of PODSHORTS. Today, the topic is what really shapes us, or how society really shapes us. Today, we have chosen a philosophical topic, so that must mean the panel is pretty woke. Myself, I am Safwan, and my co-host is Madhya. Madhya is just here for the views because she's female and that attracts a lot of attention.
Yeah,
Nah, she's pretty decent. She has, I guess, some knowledge about the subject, so hence she's here.
thank you.
To kick off this podcast, we'll be talking about our society, how it shapes our opinions and actions. All of us, we like to think that we have our own rules. Like everyone back in the day had their slang known as my life, my rules. But is it really so? I don't think so, because there are many factors which come into play when we are, in reality, IRL. Many of us take many steps subconsciously thinking about what other people think. Suppose, like, many of us watching this are engineers. Why did you take that? Because, well, our parents told us to do so. Why did our parents tell us to do so? Because that's what the society thinks is the best way to proceed with life, a safe, secure future. Now, we'll be talking about insecurity. For that, many speaking of things that enslave us, what do you feel about insecurity? Is it a bad trait or an innate emotion that we are trying to disregard as some skeletons in our closet? Madhya.
Yeah, insecurity really comes off as a futile thing, but as you have already told us that it's some sort of skeleton that we are all trying to hide. Everything, every action that we take, like, sorry, like it's sort of a core personality that everyone possesses. um, it does affect a person's behavior. Like some people even start building their life around it. It has such a tight grip over a person's life that they choose their friends, hobbies, or even their career based upon their insecurities. Now, it usually leaves no stone unturned because you have voluntarily surrendered your right of making decisions. You have given the right of making your decisions into someone else's hand. Now they dictate the kind of behavior you should have. So you're just a puppet in someone else's hand. You know, Also, you attach yourself or you attach your identity to a particular group of friends, a close group of friends, and then try to behave in a way that they seem as cool or dank. And then you spend the rest of your life vehemently opposing to any change whatsoever, thinking, oh, if I say something wrong, if I say something that they would think is not cool, I would lose my societal standing. I would lose the peer pressure. Like I would give in to the peer pressure, and they'll think negatively about you.
Yeah. Like many of us will say, "Oh, I don't care what people think," but it
Be
has evolved into now in social media as what will my followers think. Many people are insecure to show our photos because it didn't come out as well, or you didn't look good in that, or you look a bit tanned or dark.
Yeah,
Many of these insecurities shape us really.
that's because we want to look our best when we show it to people.
Now that we're speaking on the topic of insecurity, why not say a few words about the toxic relationships in our society?
Okay, like how do you know whether a person is in a toxic relationship or not? Okay, because they restrict their beloved significant other from a specific subset of behavior. Now, you do that in order to prevent them from finding anybody but yourself. So, you spend your entire time talking about the kind of love you have, like speaking all the melodramatic stuff. But at the end of the day, you're just enslaving them, you're just caging them in an emotional wall that you have built. Yeah. And
Yep.
yeah, and you're so insecure about the fact that they're going to look at your shortcomings and leave you for someone who's better than you, someone who can make them happier. And by doing so, you're also denying some part of happiness for yourself. Yeah.
Now, I'm not experienced in the relationship part, so I can't say much on that.
Uh,
So, speaking on insecurities, like insecurities basically defines it's seen as a bad thing. Like if you have some insecurity about, let's say, public speaking or say your color of your skin, it can be anything. But these insecurities, if seen from a different perspective, for example, there was this woman in New Zealand who tried to commit suicide over and over the years. I think she attempted suicide 5 times and failed. She was put into a mental institution. And later, when she coped with it and everything, now she's become a motivational speaker who uses her experience and knows what the other suicidal people are going through. Now she has a career based on that. So insecurities can be used as a strength if used as properly as the others have.
it can guide you to a certain light. Yeah. That's the thing, like we have repressed all the dark side of our personalities for so long. They started having an energy of their own. One can truly realize what it will do if it was to implode from within. Because keep feeding ego to ourselves. Now ego is supposed to be a bad thing. Imagine. Imagine the kind of psychological damage we would, go through.
Intellect.
If you I went through this quote and I found it to be really helpful. And I quote, if you always find yourself insecure, maybe it's not you, maybe it's the people you're hanging out with. So yeah, just think about it.
Maybe the kind of group you're trying to be with, you're there with them because they're the cool group
Yeah,
and you're trying to fit in as much as possible with them, suppressing your own self because you're not as cool as they think you are.
the wannabe cool group makes me think about CSE fourth year people.
No, no, no. That's all BME.
Ah, all right.
Understand the mere foundation of society around which our entire existence revolves around. We need to know the segregation of one's traits or personalities. What do you say, Maria?
See, I believe we were born as whole, and someday we hope to die as whole too. Now, as we were growing up, we started eating the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And before we could even reach to the part where we, as a person, as an individual, could differentiate between good and bad, it was the society that barged in on us and told us, no, this is something I should tell you, I should teach you because I have experience. If I tell you something that will be, beneficial for you, I'm telling you something to reduce the kind of sufferings you have to face. Now, at that time, they just taught a segregation of things into good and bad. And yeah, we were very naive back then. So we couldn't completely introspect about the decisions that they were making for us. Now after my complete existence,
Now, speaking on society, how it shapes us, the main topic that comes here is good and bad. The same thing that is good and bad considered now, like suppose 150 years ago, there was this thing called slavery, which is going on right now. If we think about it today, it's very bad, very morally wrong. But back in the day, they couldn't think their lives without slaves. Again, it depends on our society what is good and what is bad. Suppose in USA, arranged marriages are frowned upon, and here it's kind of what you call cultural norms. Almost everyone does it.
yeah.
So it really shapes the way we think, we live, everything.
You know, you have stated a really good point because Based on our cultural preferences, we do actually segregate things that are acceptable to the society and those that are to be refused by the society. Yeah, I have this one thing. Like, have you heard about Zarathustra's? Yeah, you have heard about Zarathustra. See, he said life is a constant struggle towards a state of being ascended. Now, Shakespeare told us that there are 7 stages of life, but according to a philosopher, a person goes through 3 stages of life: camel, lion, child. Now, camel, like when you think about a camel, the first thing that comes to your mind is a desert animal, someone who carries burdens. Now, these burdens might be the now, camel is sort of a personification of us. We are camel. Yeah, we are carrying
Yes.
all. Yeah, we are carrying all the weights of our society. These can either be dead weights that are pulling us down or weights that are helping us move ahead. Yeah.
These are the kind of people who say yes to everything, whatever your parents say or whatever the society tells you to do. These are 99% of the people. If you ask me whether I'm a camel or not, yes, I am, because I say yes to everything to please my parents.
Everyone's a camel. See, because you're doing something in your life right now, only because somebody at some instant of time told you that it was the right thing to do. You know, now that you think about it, everything that you're doing right now is to please someone else's expectation, to meet someone else's standards. How,
Yes, we are doing this podcast so that other people think we are pretty cool.
yeah, intelligent. Okay, Acha, like, is there a way to get rid of this stage? Move ahead into the next stage?
Yeah. Saying no to everything.
See, not necessarily saying no to a particular thing, understanding the criteria with which these weights are being put on your back. Maybe that helps.
Hmm. So, what is the next stage about? The lion.
The lion, yeah. Lion is a kind of person that has to slay all the decisions that are being made for him. So he, like when you look at a lion, he's a proud animal. No, he doesn't listen to all the nitty gritty stuff that people have to say about things. So yeah, he just thinks, yeah, my decision is absolute. I'm going to do whatever I want. Now, what Zarathustra said is like he has to slay a dragon. Now, a dragon has all the scales. On these scales are written the kind of expectation that a society holds for you. He just slays them off. Now, why do
And what is the child state?
child, like if you look at a child, that kid is very innocent, but he still has some morals imbibed in him. Like he'll say no to things if he feel those things wouldn't, benefit him. He'll say yes to the things that'll benefit him. So this child introspects everything, and you'll only
So,
reach to,
basically, what a child does is what he actually likes. If he
yeah.
likes to eat mud, he'll say yes to that. And
Yeah.
so, you're telling me when I was a child, I wanted to grow up. Now that I've grown up, I have to aspire to be a child.
Yeah, that's true. But nobody has ever reached to the child phase. In order to reach to the better self, like people don't take risk. That is why they are stuck at stage one. Now, once you take calculated risk, once you live your life dangerously, you should let that danger act as a catalyst in your life. Only then your life wouldn't drag you down. It becomes a process of
Speaking
surmounting.
of living dangerously, and there's there's one factor that comes into play, that is pain.
That is pain.
We
Oh,
all think we all think as, why does this happen to us? Why didn't I get this job or something like this?
yeah.
Well, if you see pain from a different perspective, pain, if you see, like, suppose you failed at an attempt to do something, but you can rather gain experiences from that. Suppose you sucked at public speaking. Maybe because your voice was low or the mic was bad. People laughed at you, maybe. But from that, you learned that maybe you should speak louder and have the mic checked earlier. Or this is a horrible example, but you get the point.
So you are saying pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
Yeah, we have to choose to suffer.
You have to choose to suffer in order to gain experience and live a better life.
Now, to avoid suffering, you can become a monk like all the philosophers and just live in the mountains, chill.
But okay, like if you live like a mount, see, a mount is a kind of person that has to lose all his emotions. So if his child is dying in front of him, he wouldn't bat his eye. He just let him die. But that's the flip side. You you lose your emotions if you become a mount.
So basically, what Madhya is trying to tell us that these emotions are what makes us human. So suffering and everything is part of life.
Yep. See, if a person didn't suffer, he wouldn't understand what happiness is, and like vice versa.
Vice versa.
If a person is always happy, he wouldn't understand what agony is.
So the last topic that we'll be discussing today is an impromptu topic that Madhya didn't prepare for.
Oof.
That is being nice. Why do people act nice? There
Ah,
was a recent incident with me that happened that I'd like to share.
okay,
One of our old class members made what do you call a WhatsApp group
okay.
in this lockdown. Like everyone thought it's because, nostalgia, friendship and shit.
This was his
Later
school.
we came to realize that he made that group just to promote his startup.
Ah,
So being nice, someone being nice to you always has ulterior motives. What do you think about
see, as I previously told you, there's no selfless act without a selfish reason. Now, see, it's a society that demands us to behave in a certain way, and everyone does things for their own personal beneficial gain. Nobody is pure and pious. Yeah.
it? So being nice, many of us be nice to people. Many of us be nice to people we respect or we think are attractive, be it in their nature of profession or their looks.
uh,
But someone we look down upon, we are not really nice to them.
yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because that person's presence agitates us, maybe.
Mm,
Yeah.
maybe,
There's a fine line between being nice and respect, because you tend to respect people who have a significant impact in your life. You are nice to people because your parents taught you that it's a nice habit. Be nice to people. They
yeah, but not all of us are nice.
All of us are nice up to a certain extent, which our parents don't know about.
Yeah, we're nice at home, then in college we're someone else.
Yeah, I had this one thing that you know that uh, irks me. Uh,
Mm,
sometimes it kind of feels that, like, I'm completely going off topic. Sometimes it kind of feels that our future feels like a debt we have to repay at some particular instant of time to the people that made decisions for us. Like, did you ever feel that? Or is it just me?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
every day, like uh, the decisions the parent make for us. Why do you think we allow them to do it? It's because of the sacrifices they've made.
Yeah.
They've made many sacrifices in their life which they didn't have control over. Maybe they were, I don't know, poverty stricken and they couldn't fulfill their dreams. So, since they couldn't fulfill their dreams, they are forced. They're forcing us to fulfill theirs. It's like a debt you have to carry on your back.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true because our family's decision would be in our best interest, but that shouldn't put us in a
But
blind.
it's never really in our best interest.
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah, that shouldn't put us in a blind spot where we aren't able to make decisions for ourselves. Like we should always understand the rationality of decisions, all the nitty-gritty stuff that goes into it. You know, I don't really feel that our extended family should have any say in our major life decisions. You know, that's because they didn't do shit for us besides causing futile arguments amongst the family and disrupting the ephemeral peace, the peace that lasts only for a short amount of time. You know, people are
Yeah.
really lucky if they have good cousins, good uncles and aunts, and those people are really rare.
But in most cases, it's the annoying uncle that annoys us to do this, do that,
No, better,
live to the society's expectations.
no, better take engineering. You'll have a lot of scope. Do this. You'll make money.
Yeah, it's very cliche, but it's true.
You know, they don't understand the fact that our grandparents prepared our parents for this, for their generation, and our parents are doing the same thing for us in this generation. But the thing is, they don't want to accept any changes in our lifestyle, in the way things are happening. Yeah.
Yeah. They live by their own moral code, and what they've learned from their parents, they're trying to implement on us. So, say you you had to become a doctor, Madhya, and you couldn't fulfill your dream. What will you force that on your child?
No, I wouldn't. I'll just let them do whatever they do, but hope they
What
become.
if they do drugs?
I've been. Yeah, I'll just put them in rehab
Yeah, nice parent. You failed.
and beat the shit out of them because Indians.
What do you think about tolerance and intolerance?
Uh, See, tolerance. Like if a person is tolerant by virtue, that doesn't mean he doesn't oppose any wrongdoings or disagree with people. Tolerance is merely accepting the fact that you know people have different opinions and not try to silence them or condemn them when they are speaking about their perspective. Now if you look at it at a wider perspective, what are laws but not collectively agreed upon set of intolerances? Now these intolerances are designed such that uh, you do not behave in a certain way, you would restrict yourself from a particular set of beliefs. For every law that you agree upon, you are intolerant towards a set of belief. Okay. So what are laws but not collectively agreed upon set of intolerances? A system designed to prevent certain set of behavior of certain people. For every law that you agree upon, you are intolerant towards a set of beliefs. These intolerances will, shape the world. Imagine living in a world where they say murder is okay. You'll either be living in an extremely powerful place or that gives extreme power to people, or you'll either be put down to ground. Pun intended. No, it just takes a few million people to decide your fate, to decide the kind of intolerance that you should have. That's it. So yeah, it was a fun podcast. Thank you for being with us. Hope we have changed a few. Hope we try to change a few perspectives. Like, and yeah, do reflect upon yourself. Try learning about philosophy. Thank you. This episode will be uploaded on IGTV and YouTube. Safan had to go, so yeah, bye.